Okay, dice your onion like that. Then put oil and butter in a pan like that. Vegetable oil and real butter. Then when it's nice like that, you toss the onion in there.
And you stir it up until it's all caramelized, brownish.
Is there light on this one? Look at that. And then when these are all fried up, you toss the hamburger in there. When it looks like that, you're going to start tossing the hamburger in there.
Be careful so you don't splash yourself with oil.
I've done that before.
On me?
On Sophia. Twice, I think.
And the trick to smooth sauce or smooth taco meat is to keep on just chopping it into the pan. That way you get small pieces, and if you want bigger chunks, you just do less of it. And then you lower the heat a little bit as well. So now it's on a 6 out of 10.
You just chunk it down, chunk it down, chunk it down, and when it's all done, it's all brown, then you're on the next step.
Finish them off the last. Okay, it's almost done. Making sure the last few bits of pink meat getting divided up so that it can cook separately. And then it's time for...
We're going to be making tacos out of half of this, and we're going to be making meat sauce out of the other half of it. And the taco stuff you have to pour off the fat and the hamburger.
We're just going to lift that out of this.
So we'll be fine, and we'll leave all the meat, throw the sauce in the pan. Or the fat, that can go in the sauce.
So, putting a few carrots in there gives a really juicy taste to the meat sauce.
Or you just cut them up real small.
Like, if I got to choose, I would have them ground up in here and sitting in the sauce, and everybody would get a little bit with each portion. But that would make Eric crazy. But the taste of it he likes, he just don't like the texture of them. So this way I can take them out once they're giving off all their juice and stuff, and we'll still have all the good taste from it.
And
then there's a second step here.
We're trying to use up old tomatoes that we don't want in this fridge anymore.
And they are just as good as canned, or actually better, because they give off more taste.
But they don't. So, I think this is a little bit more difficult step. But using straight, I think it's a more expensive step. Using fresh
depends.
tomatoes.
If they are in season, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But it depends on how generic you want to be, I'd say.
So, tomatoes, tossing those in there. There they are. And we're going to crush them while they're cooking up.
And then they'll be real soft and let go of their peel as well. And the peel will roll up in little red scrunchies, and that way you can take them out if you don't want them, and if you want them,
and
just eat them.
Toss in the tomatoes.
Yep. And we're going to salt them.
So now, and then you put salt and pepper on top of all this, and once you get all the tomatoes in there, salt and pepper, and then some garlic and bouillon.
No, not with this much. This meat don't need any bouillon. All right, so the canned tomatoes are in, and we're just going to crush them up just the same way, and we want all the juice from the tomatoes in there too. And this is like the base. You can always enhance it with any kind of spices you like. Italian herbs, really good. If you have taco salsa left over, really good. If you have sour cream or whipped cream, you can put that in towards the end. You get a different flavor taste. You can
barbecue
put ketchup
sauce.
In there.
Ketchup we always put in.
If you want to make it a little fancier for the really, really super nice lasagna, you add a little of this. And all the alcohol will be out of it before you know it. It just gives a...
They're never going to have a bottle of that at the house.
No.
We're drinking red wine.
Now you're assuming. That's not nice.
Keith doesn't drink red wine.
Yeah, but anybody who will watch this might have it.
This is only for Keith.
This is only for Keith. Why?
Because.
No.
Okay, so gotta take the peel off of it. So you Bust it out
What
of
is
there.
it?
The onion. It's a garlic. You break that out of there. Vitlök in Swedish, like that, and then you smack. It's the most of it off. And this is. Oh man, that one's the. This one we can't use. It's moldy.
Yep. Take another one.
Take another one. Try this
Start
one.
with those two first.
Give it a smack. Don't let that work too bad. Too well. Turn it like this. There we go. Empty that off there. Then you got to get that piece out of the middle. There's one piece in the middle you don't want.
That's the one that sprouts if it's too
So
long.
do that.
And
you
the
divide it
reason
in
to
half.
take that piece out is actually the aftertaste and breath and smell.
Yep. So you open it like this, and you pull that one out of there.
The piece that would become the new plant if it
Oh, that one.
was let to grow.
It doesn't want to come out of there too easily.
But that's what gives
Yep.
you the bad breath the day after. So if you take that out, you're good to go.
Yeah, well,
Even if you're gonna
it's
make
only that
something
piece of it.
really important.
Yeah, this one is only that part that was stuck. The worst part. Okay. Take the next
Okay,
one. These are too
Eric's
little.
gonna
I need
do
a
all
big.
of them.
This is nice.
I like diced garlic in the pan. If you don't have it pressed, dicing is fine when you're cooking. If you're doing a guacamole or something cold, you really want to have a press because you don't want to bite into a fresh garlic clove. But within a cooked garlic clove, it's fine to bite into, no problem at all.
I
You
think
barely
it's
want
time
to feel
for,
it.
and it's right now. It's time. If you cook spaghetti, you're done with this. Let it cook up until it's not so wet, and you're done. And there's your sauce. But if you're
And
making lasagna like we're doing today,
You let it sit and simmer.
and we have to make another sauce. And this is
The
a bechamel sauce. And I don't know how to make this. Sophia
So
has
you
never
start
taught
with the
me.
butter, like a butter stick. It's
A
fine.
quarter, half a butter stick,
One butter stick
Oh,
for this
yeah.
big a set. But if
100 grams.
a butter stick, 114 I think it's in one of them. You don't want to burn the butter, so you start up low, like 4 or so, let it melt. And then once it starts like bubble a wee bit, then you're gonna do
Then we'll show you. Wait. Where does that go?
okay, so the basic bechamel sauce is butter, flour, milk, nutmeg, salt and pepper, and ricotta cheese. So when you're starting a sauce from the base, you usually do the thickening of the sauce first, and you start from the butter. Now it has all melted. So now I want to turn up the heat a wee bit, getting bubbling, because that's what's gonna get this flour to start swelling. So I want it to fry a wee bit. Once you've got the flour in there, it's important to be quick with the milk and stir it constantly to get rid of the lumps, or otherwise you will have lumps in it, basically. See, just gonna get the heat up. See how it's starting to bubble a wee bit?
Yeah, I don't think it's on.
Well, it got all white instead of all of yellow.
Yeah.
So pretty much what I'm gonna use, 2, 3, 6 tablespoons or so ish. That's about 1, about 2, that's about 3 tablespoons or so, whatnot. See, now I stirred up and it becomes almost like a batter for a cake. And this is when the milk comes into the picture. Once you're getting all the lumps out of this, that's when you start pouring milk in. And you do it while stirring. And if your milk isn't fridge cold, this is so much easier to avoid the lumps. And now
Let the milk sit out for an hour before.
I just need to be room temperature. And since we're gonna make a big lasagna, this is a pretty big pile. And now it's just, but this is just milk. Yeah, so far it is. But once it starts boiling, but without burning it, which is the trick about this thing, this is gonna be lots of good sauce. And once it got warm and boiling and cooking, that's when you can add the ricotta cheese. Spicing is up to taste. You want to taste something. Be careful on the nutmeg. I would say like a teaspoon tip. About this much, maybe a wee bit more. It's just for like a fragrance of it. Salt, on the other hand, be generous. 1,
Really?
2 teaspoons. for this much milk and sauce, otherwise it will taste like
Water?
no, what the kids drink for breakfast. And usually I use white pepper because it doesn't show up in the sauce.
Black pepper works too, but white pepper is pretty good.
Yeah, that's just for the looks of it. So make sure you stir really well when you're boiling it, and if it gets too high up in the bowl, just tip it a wee bit and get it off the heat, and all the bubbles will calm down and get down a bit. As you saw when I started, I've only got milk in half the thing because once it starts bubbling, it rises real quickly, and you don't want to have this on your stove. You want to have it in your lasagna.
And this isn't quite thick enough yet. I think we should have had a little more ketchup.
No, it's
in it.
thick enough since it's going to go into the...
Yeah, right. Because it's a lasagna, it can be a little bit extra wet, but I would, if you're making a regular meat sauce, I would let it cook more so it gets a little thicker.
Or you just add some cream or sour cream to it and it'll be all good.
Now Sophia's getting ahead of herself here. You pour some meat sauce in and some bechamel sauce, and then you take these kind
You
of
put the meat sauce at the bottom because that will stop the plates from actually getting stuck to the bottom. You'll have a little bit of meat lifting up between, and it goes in. Start with breaking off a corner and you stick it in the pan because that way it stays in the corner. And you can just toss them into the pan, it'll fine.
And these are oven ready lasagna plates.
All are. It doesn't have to be oven ready.
But these are flat ones instead of having all the ridges on them like the regular Italian ones do. These are flat ones, so this works better for our lasagna.
So if you happen to have them overlap, like here, the gap is smaller. Like the bottom layer and the top layer, you want to make sure they actually overlap. Those are the ones that are going to hold it all together. But the next layer you can break off and put a small piece in between because they do widen and grow. So the next step is to actually put meat sauce onto these layers. You spread nicely. Doesn't have to be all that thick. The more layers, the better. Something like that. And then I usually put some cheese in between. Practice the experience and taste of it. And pretty much any rather mild cheese you've got.
We're using Mexican 4 cheese because that's what we had in the fridge.
And what you really want to put in there is the most, because it sort of binds, it helps holding it all together even better. So do a little like that.
You don't gotta go crazy because it's all gonna get melted into the middle. So it's not like when you do on the top when you got.
And every time you take the sauce, whip it up because it has thickened a wee bit more for every time. And that's a good thing, and you want as much of that.
Which one to switch places with the sauces? Because that one's the one that's the most likely to drip all over the place.
Got a good one. Soup ladle works really good.
Sarah's gonna be late.
So you just scrape off the back end. And you sort of just kind of pour it so it spreads all over. And this is the one you want to make sure you get all over the place. This is what's going to make all the lasagna smooth and soft and chew, you know, carry all the taste.
See, last layer's in. Little bit too much bechamel, but Sophia says it's fine.
You just got to get all the air bubbles out from underneath. And the last layer, you don't put meat sauce on top, only bechamel. And you want to make sure that all the lasagna plates are actually covered. And then you add a wee bit of cheese up top to get that awesomely yellow, brownish, glazed kind of layer up top.
And you put aluminum foil on it.
Yes, because it needs to cook first, and then the last 15 minutes you pull it out, you pull the aluminum off and get it a really nice top. If you go without top or aluminum foil, it'll be burnt on top. You don't want that.
And this is the taco meat for the nachos. And we pulled some off of the other one when we just made it all brown. We threw a little water there, and then one of those little packages, just like when you make tacos. We stir it up till it's nice and happy. Then we're gonna make the rest of the nachos tomorrow.
You don't want to cook in the shirt.
Okay, so we took the foil off with the foil on 30 minutes, without the foil like 20 minutes. Okay, it looks like this. Made some bread, we put butter on it.
How big?
And there you go.
Yeah.
I tasted it, tastes awesome.